What's up guys, Houndish here, and today it's time for some Destiny 2 news. So we're going to jump in, talk about some stuff about upcoming content in the game. We actually have some pretty interesting new perks to talk about. These will be weapon perks, and some of these are pretty special. It looks like they could be linked to exotics, or definitely high tier legendaries in the game. So we'll talk about some of that upcoming content. I also wanted to speak about the Armory vendor, the weapon dealer that we're going to see in the Black Armory expansion. It looks like we could have a hint to exactly who this is now, and it's linked to the 77 Wizard fusion rifle from back in D1. So we'll talk about those possibilities in a moment. We're going to talk about some changes to weapons, the upcoming dailies calendar for the next couple of weeks, and we've got a bunch of other stuff to talk about in this video, guys. So it's going to be pretty interesting. If you do enjoy it, a like below is very much appreciated. But for now, let's jump straight into it. So of course, now that Forsaken has been out for nearly a month, the focus has started to turn towards future content. We know that we're getting Festival of the Lost in just a couple of weeks' time, and we're going to learn more about that one soon, but we do have the Black Armory expansion coming in December. Now, we've spoken about the Armory vendor, the weapon dealer. This is both a character that we've actually seen inside of the trailers, but we also saw a developer working on it, so we know that this vendor is going to be a key feature of the Black Armory expansion, where we'll gain access to a whole bunch of really insane exotic weapons. But the 77 Wizard from back in Destiny 1 may actually hold a clue to who this EXO character is. So of course we know of Banshee, the famous gunsmith, and there are a few gunsmith characters in the Destiny universe, but as far as recorded EXO gunsmiths, the only other reference we have is to an EXO called Gaunt. So on the 77 Wizard back in Destiny 1, the flavor text read, "The EXO called Gaunt is a gunsmith famous for his wizards." And so with this character being a gunsmith, also being responsible for some of the older weapons we had in Destiny 1, and being the only other notable EXO gunsmith, it seems pretty likely that Gaunt is indeed the name of this new vendor. It's also pretty interesting. Of course, EXOs often come with numbers after their name, and this refers to the number of times that the EXO has been reset. So you've got Banshee 44, you've got characters like Lakshmi 2, Ariana 3, and of course Kate 6, but Gaunt doesn't actually feature a number. So I think that's certainly pretty interesting, and I'd be curious to hear your thoughts below. Next though, let's talk about a couple of very interesting perks that are in the database. So these bonuses aren't currently available in game, they're not on any weapons, but any Overwatch fans might be pretty interested to hear about this one. So it's called High Noon. It is listed as a legendary trait, we'll talk about that in a moment, but the perk description reads, "Readying this weapon grants a brief period of bonus precision damage." And if you didn't know, High Noon is the name of McCree's ultimate in Overwatch. That's essentially the equivalent of the super attack. And you can see what it does right here. So it allows you to lock onto targets, and then McCree actually fan fires the weapon. So there's been some speculation this could potentially be a new last word bonus that we're seeing right here. If Bungie were looking for an opportunity or a way to allow the last word to still do bonus damage, but to not give it the capacity to immediately do the bonus damage, from hipfire or something like that, then maybe, this bonus could fit on the last word or a revamped version of it. With the rumors that the last word is returning, of course this is possible, and the thematic link as well with the style of weapon that McCree uses, this perk being named after McCree's super, and of course there have been a bunch of other Overwatch references in Destiny 2, the play of the game grenade launcher, the Widow's Bite sniper, and Lord Saladin doing some of the Reaper lines in the Iron Banner. We definitely have an Overwatch Easter egg here. Of course, it is possible that this could simply be a legendary trait, but it's definitely not going to be the kind of random roll bonus that you could just get on a legendary weapon. It strikes me as a curated bonus, a trait specifically designed to go onto a specific weapon. I should mention as well that just because this is called a legendary trait in the database doesn't mean that it can't actually be on an exotic. The secondary trait bonuses that come on exotic weapons in Destiny 2 are all listed as legendary traits. So you have the Sweet Business right here, of course with the Payday exotic intrinsic, but then when you look along you've got Business Time. This is the second trait bonus for the weapon, and it's listed as a legendary trait. That is the same for every exotic weapon, so it's entirely possible that High Noon could be a trait bonus for an exotic. But obviously this isn't currently applied to any weapons in the game, we can't see an icon for it, so this is basically just describing scrap of data that's in the database, but it's definitely a bonus that we'll see on something in the near future. We also have Armsmaster though, and this allows kills with other weapons to improve this weapon's damage. So once again, a pretty specific bonus, clearly designed to go onto a weapon that's been developed to have that bonus on it. Also listed as a legendary trait. This is almost certainly a curated legendary bonus that would go onto a special type of weapon, so the Ikelos weapons from the Escalation Protocol, or the competitive weapons, so things like Luna's Howl and the Claymore. There is also a small possibility that these bonuses could be for exotic catalysts. So of course we haven't had any new exotic catalysts in Forsaken. I would anticipate we're probably going to see them, and so there is a small chance that they could be trait bonuses that will be built into catalysts in the future. I really do love that Overwatch reference though, with the High Noon perk. I can't wait to see the weapon that this bonus is going to be on. So that's just a brief look at some upcoming bonuses, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts on them below. I should also mention though, on this subject, I had mentioned Foundry specific vendors, such as Shinshu 9940 selling Soros items. There's also a specific one for Omelon, Hake, and Weist. And with these being newly added in the Forsaken DLC, it seems that they could be for the Black Armory, or potentially the Arms Week event that was leaked via the database a few weeks ago. So let me know your thoughts about that. Up next though, Robbie Stevens from Bungie gave a bit of clarification about some of the upcoming changes that we'll see in Gambit, as well as to some of the weapons. So of course we know that there will be changes to the inventory of heavy ammo on weapons like Sleeper Simulant, as well as the swords. Sleeper's going to see a small nerf, and the swords will see a buff to how much ammo they can grab. Hey Fitzy asked, what about picking up heavy ammo on the ground? So when you pick up heavy ammo on the floor, of course you get less than what you'd normally get from an ammo crate. Sleeper Simulant will only get 2 rounds from an ammo crate in future, but Robbie Stevens confirms that the ammo dropped in bricks is unchanged, so anything coming from being picked up on the floor will grant the same amount of ammo that it currently does, and that is for all of the weapons in question. He did confirm though that this won't affect the Crucible. Crucible will still work in the way that it has been. But somebody asked, will the update on October 30th include the reduced in-aim assist on the Sleeper Simulant? And DMG says he believes so. So it looks like the end of October, on the 30th, that is when we'll get the update that changes Sleeper. Of course, we have spoken recently about the update calendar, where there'll be 2 different updates, so one on October 16th with a bunch of changes. That comes alongside Festival of the Lost, and then another one at the end of October on the 30th, where we're seeing the bulk of the changes to things like exotics and duplicates. So a good little bit of clarification right there. Couple of random things to round up right now though. Fresh World on Reddit posted a pretty useful guide with the calendar of daily milestones or challenges that are going to pop up in the game over the next few weeks. So just in case you were curious, you can see right here all of the dates throughout September and October, and which particular daily challenge is going to come up each week. And of course, those daily challenges do stay up for 4 days before they actually disappear if you haven't completed them. So I'll link that Reddit post down below in case it's useful. Also a quick shout from My Name is Fury on Reddit, who pointed out right here that there is a shader in the game called Bold Statement, which is essentially the Crucible color set from the Dark Below, which is pretty cool. So you can see the Redrix is right here. It's got that shader on it. And if you look at a pulse rifle from back in D1, this was the Crucible pulse rifle when the Dark Below launched. And that blue and red combo was actually the color of all of the armor and the weapons and stuff that came from Crucible. So basically this new shader is a shout to that. I find those colors pretty garish personally, but definitely nostalgic if you remember playing back in the day. And I believe it's just a completely random drop, but you're looking for the Bold Statement shader. It can randomly be applied to legendaries and stuff like that. And of course, if you break something down that has it, it'll then be in the collection so you can reclaim it. But guys, for now, that is going to summarize today's news video. The future is looking pretty exciting for Destiny 2. Of course, we have a little over a week and we get Festival of the Lost, and Bungie have teased that there'll be some cool gameplay elements there. And honestly, they'll definitely want to keep up the hype. So with the annual pass coming out, pretty much by the time Festival of the Lost is out of the way, we'll be closing in on, like 5 weeks until that launches, which means we're going to start getting news, probably streams from Bungie, and that is separate to the calendar of content and the updates that we'll see for Forsaken right now. So it's pretty good stuff. I'm feeling pretty confident. If Bungie can continue to nail the content going into the annual pass updates, and learn from some of the stuff in Forsaken, some of the exotic quests, some of the different challenges and things like that. If they can get that balance right, I think we're going to be in a pretty positive place moving forward. But let me know your thoughts about that down below. Let me know your thoughts about Gaunt, the Exo vendor in the Black Armory, the High Noon bonus. Once again, I'm really excited and curious to see what that's going to be for. But if you've enjoyed the video, guys, a like is very much appreciated. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more D2 content. But for now, whatever you get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.